Back again for Queen and Country. Last time we had just about finished up murdering the Russians and they surrendered to us, giving us some territories in Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. However, I then realised that we were at war with pretty much the rest of the world. To put it into perspective, these are all of the countries we are currently at war with. Our allies in this are the French, the Russians, and that's about it. However, this war is incredibly confusing because Austria and Prussia are both at war with us, for example, but they are also at war with each other. So basically, the whole of Europe is just at war with each other. I don't know, let's go and stab some Austrians, shall we? Alright, gentlemen, the Austrians may outnumber us 2-1, but let us not let them show us up, eh? Come on, off we jog. According to Queen Victoria last time, Edward Hastings, and I quote, is not competent enough to become a vassal of the British Empire. This is our largest battle yet, with thousands of troops, so, assuming my PC doesn't crash again, we are going to show her that Edward Hastings is the face of the British Armed Forces. I don't know how Edward always finds himself in these situations, by himself, fighting like 5 enemy soldiers. However, this is just what makes him the best the British Army has. Well, that's one way to deal with them. I'm not too sure what you expected there, Squire. I mean, you bastard. There's literally no way you can win this fight. There might be one way you can win this fight. For Pete's sake. Well, I'm sure this can only go well. Come on, you Edwardian Hussars, I have the utmost faith in you. They're dead. They are all dead. On paper, that seems a bit one-sided. However, what if I told you that that one troop was Edward Hastings himself? No? Still not Alright, seems winnable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this very cinematic display right here, Edward Hastings will make his heroic last stand. On the one condition that someone makes a film out of this. Come on then, you Austrian bastards! Come forth if you're man enough, and we'll sort this out like gentlemen. I'll take as many of them down as the spirit of Britannia allows me to. You're not gonna win this, chaps. Alright. We'll call it a draw. I have 0 troops fit for battle against the enemy's 1,880. Well, that's better than none. Very well. With a heavy heart, I shall click this button, but only because there is literally no other Wait, hang on a minute. Yes, there is. Bob's your uncle! Ah, tosh. There's no escaping it. Very well. Let's get this... Excuse me? You stole my chicken! You bastards! This means war. And not just the one we are already in, but a personal one. So here is our current situation. Edward Hastings has just escaped from the captivity of the Austrians. However, he is completely by himself. The Edwardian Hussars are now no more. It's just him on his little horse. And we are currently in Austria. And we need to try and find our way back to France, our ally. So then we can go back to England and recruit some more chaps and rebuild the Edwardian Hussars division, so then we can come back and get our sodding revenge. However, before we do that, on the way to France we're going to wage some asymmetric warfare on the Austrians and their allies, because they stole my sodding chicken. Oh, spiffing. Deserters. You know what, chaps? You're now against your own army. We have a common enemy. I give you money, you help me stab some Austrian people. How does that sound? It's just unrefusable. Alright, we now have 10 Austrian cavalrymen. They may not be British, however the Edwardian Hussars division grows. These chaps, these Austrian mercenaries, will only be working with us while we are behind enemy lines and kind of desperate. Now, let's go commit some atrocities, eh? Our asymmetric warfare scheme begins here. We're going to pillage the Bavarian village of Zwickau. This Bavarian village. We're going to raid it and, send a message to these Bavarian and Austrian bastards that I'm still here. No, sorry. Edward Hastings is still here. Alright, gentlemen. I haven't the foggiest idea how you understand a word I'm saying, but apparently you do. And that is very convenient, because I've never worked with foreign soldiers before in my company of the Edwardian Hussars Division. We are normally just a purely British asset, because we are part of the British Army. So, let's see how you do. Well, there's a bloody lot of them. However, quality over quantity. Well, this is going swimmingly thus far. Oh, for Pete's sake. Come on, mate. Austrian or not, you can't be dying to common in the rabble farmers like that. Not in the Edwardian Hussars Division. Now, away with you. Game, I do understand that the battle is won. However, that does not mean it is finished. Well, I'm not sure how I gained 50 renown for that. However, if I want to become a vassal, I will not question it. Bloody hell, stuck behind enemy lines like this, waging a guerrilla war on the Austrians, coming back, I'm going to be a hero in England, and then they'll have to make me a vassal. As for now, we're plundering this village, never mind we're going to be attacked by urban prowlers. That's a brilliant Iron Maiden song. Alright chaps, I care not for what tongue you speak, or what monarch you used to fight for. You fight for Edward Hastings now, and so long as you can impale his enemies, you're alright with him. Yes, I don't think we'll have much troubles with these chaps. Arthur Shelby's getting away! Get him, chaps! And once again, the gentlemen prevail over the scoundrels. Now let's continue burning the village down. Ah, there's some more Austrian deserters here. Would you chaps also like to join the Edwardian Hussars Division? That question's rhetorical, I know the answer. Ah, salutation, sir. I may have overstayed my welcome here a tad bit and will therefore be on my way. This Austrian patrol is following me. However, I see no cavalry in that patrol, and quite a bit of cavalry in mine. Alright, you Austrian Edwardian Hussars, it's time to exact your revenge on your own army, your own comrades. Now, gentlemen, this battle is going to be a tad bit more challenging than those of which we have recently undertaken, as the chaps we are facing are now experienced soldiers and not villagers. However, luckily for you chaps, you have a British commander, and not only is he British, he's Edward bloody Hastings. Come on chaps. I feel remarkably out of place here. The more casualties we inflict upon them now, the less Austrian soldiers the British will have to deal with later. Hit and run tactics, chaps. We're here to cause as much disruption as possible. We are quite literally the first ever commandos. Yet another decisive British victory. And allow me to emphasise this, it is indeed a British victory. I couldn't give a sod that none of these chaps are British. I am. Well, seeing as our raid on a Bavarian village didn't go so well, let us this time raid an Austrian village because, well, to be fair, they are specifically the ones I'm getting revenge against. So let us plunder Karlovy Vary. Now, there are certainly details of his little campaign behind enemy lines that Edward Hastings will remain covered up upon his return to England. One of those deeds definitely being this, but it is all for the best interest of the British Empire. Yeah, best not tell the public about our deeds here. Whatever happens on the battlefield stays on the battlefield in this case. Well, farmers or not, you can't say they don't deserve it. After all, they are Austrian, and their army defeated mine and my entire realms in battle. Edward Hastings is not one to leave a score unsettled. Right, we got a grand total of £50 from the whole village. And we are now at war with Belgium. Belgium! By Jove, this village that we just ransacked has some good stuff in it. Right, I'm now satisfied. I will now end my guerrilla warfare scheme on Austria, and make my way to France so that I may be in friendly territory, sell my ill-gotten gains, and return to England. Because everybody there probably thinks I'm dead right now. Before we return to France, however, there appears to be one last Bavarian patrol that would like a scrap. Come on then, chaps. The sooner we slaughter these Bavarian bastards, the sooner we can go to France, and the sooner we get to France, the sooner I can return to England, and the sooner we return to England, I can release you all from service. Because then I'll have British soldiers at my disposal again, and as marvellous as you lot have been, I miss them dearly. You know how Sir Francis Drake quickly picked up a reputation among the Spanish people as El Drake? Well, I wonder if Sir Edward Hastings has received much recognition by the Austrian and Bavarian people during his little scheme here. Well, casualties are certainly higher than usual here, but we won, so what does it matter? Right, continuing our journey, we have arrived in Prussia now. That means we're very close to France. Wow, we are now here in France. We escaped from our Austrian captors in the middle of the night of August 26. That means our guerrilla warfare in Austria only happened for about 5 days, However, what does it matter? We caused some casualties on the enemies, and now I'm back in friendly territory. Right, now allow me to just sell what I retrieved from the Austrian village of whatever the bloody hell it was called. Bloody hell, I have money again. I haven't had this much since the Austrians decided to defeat me in battle, which is something that will never happen again. The poverty of the town of Paris is unbearable. Why is that funny to me? Wow, I've been away from home long enough. Last time I was in England was before we went to Samarkand, so that was about 4 years ago. Right, sorry Austrians, you were brilliant when I needed you. However, the thing is, I don't need you now, so, sod off. By the way, I have no idea how Queen Victoria or any of the other generals are doing right now, because they also lost in the same battle I did. I'm pretty sure all of them except for Victoria were also taken prisoner, so, God knows what she's doing now. However, that's something to worry about later. I'm gonna do my own thing for now. I'm going to make my way around England and raise another army. The Edwardian Hussars Division will return. Yes, I have now announced to the British Empire that I am indeed alive and ready for service once more. I don't have a clue where Queen Victoria is, however, so I might as well just wait here. Somebody better come back soon. I just survived for 5 grueling days behind enemy lines, waging asymmetric warfare against the enemy. If that doesn't call for tea and medals, I don't know what the bloody hell does. Right, well I mean, that isn't exactly the report I was hoping from a British general. However, a report is a report, and I'm just glad they still exist. I've been waiting for yonks, nobody's come back, I've raised a sizable army, I'm bored. So sod waiting for Victoria to return and do another campaign with her. I'm going to do my own campaign by myself. I just don't know what yet. I'm gonna go to France and figure it out. Do you know what? I'm feeling Belgium. Let the Crown know, and the authorities of the British Empire, that I, Sir Edward Hastings, of the Edwardian Hussars Division, am beginning a British invasion of Belgium. We're going to start with Bruges, assuming that's how it's said. What's that garrison like? Oh, that's interesting. This is going to be my first ever siege that I am leading. This is a very large step for Edward Hastings, but one that he is more than ready to take. And, France is now instantly at war with Prussia after their truce has expired, and hello mate, how are you? Right, Hendrik, I get you're a tad bit miffed. You know, I am besieging one of your towns. However, I kind of have to do this to prove my competence to Queen Victoria that I can become a vassal, so, yes, I am going to have to shoot you in the face. This is going to be the Edwardian Hussars' first battle since their reformation. Alright, gentlemen, I do not mean to alarm you. However, this is my first ever battle commanding an entire army by myself without the support of any other British general. So I cannot guarantee the result of this battle. However, we will see what happens. The environment is far from ideal for us, as trees and cavalry do not mix well, but this battle will be what we make it out to be. So let's win. Oh, and also you lot, try not to die too much, because we do have a siege to do straight after this battle, and I want all the men I can get for that. It's going to be my first ever siege, so I need a good first impression. Come on, you Belgian bellends, have at you. It definitely feels weird knowing I'm responsible for every single one of these men on the battlefield right now. In comparison to just myself, and then just myself and the cavalry, it really shows Edward Hastings' climb in power throughout his military career. Well, if the Belgians are going to continue fighting like this, we'll be home by Christmas. What's the devil happened to your horses, gentlemen? You're Edwardian Hussars, for Pete's sake. Any Edwardian Hussar not on his mount is improperly dressed. It would appear they are routing. We should have this battle won within minutes. Alright, Belgians, you can't play a Genghis Khan and pretend to retreat and then murder my sodding horse. That is just not gentlemanlike. Right, well I'm going to have to just nab another horse now. Well, on paper, we're winning the battle. Now let's see if we can do that on grass. Ah, most interesting. I appear to have stumbled across an entire Belgian line infantry regiment. As we in the Edwardian Hussars Division like to say, bollocks of steel. Come on, chaps. Come on, chaps. What makes you think you're going to best Edward Hastings himself in hand-to-hand combat? There's a greater chance of me leaving the British Army and joining the Prussians. What did I tell you? Do not cross swords with me. That just looked... I'm sorry, did I just clothesline that chap with a sword? Well, here comes the cavalry. Never mind, they're too late, we've won. We lost a large amount of chaps there. However, the enemy lost significantly more, so hey-ho. You misunderstand, mate. You may be at war with Belgium, as am I. However, I'm also at war with you. You aren't going anywhere, I'm afraid. While as much as I would love for this siege to be a British victory, we did lose about 40 men there. As a result, I'm going to recruit some Dutch chaps into the army. Because, you know, Dutch, British, same thing, really. There we are. I reckon that'll do nicely. Well then, gentlemen, I'm going to leave it here for today. Next episode, Edward Hastings will begin his grand offensive into Belgium with no help from anybody else. It will be his first ever campaign, unsanctioned by any other British official, not even Victoria herself. This will be a significant part of his history. See you next time, chaps.